the story of how he came back and said, Mom, at this age, you should not be doing soda. And all the soda drinks. And I was like, why? What's wrong with this? You have a sweet tooth. You need to cut it. So they will teach you because they are ahead. Mm-hmm. And that's what the UK system's done for me. It's kind of pushed me ahead. Schools. And then when they found the scholarship, interestingly, the first offer I think they said was maybe a 10%. And I said, we might not be able to afford it. They came back and brought us almost 30% in discount. Yeah. And then a payment plan. It made it easy to stop being churlish and to go.
Hello, I'm King David, and this is the Study UK podcast, where we share insights, guidance, and real stories that will help you make confident steps towards studying in the UK. And I'm here with the amazing, she's so cool, Dr. Michale Matthew.
Thank you very much. Thanks for inviting me.
She's got 2 kids who have gone through this journey, and she's going to be sharing from her own experience. So, Dr. Michale, what has parenting been like for you?
I think parenting is a beautiful mix of joy, responsibility, sometimes concern, and then hoping that you do it better and you grow kids that come out balanced. That's how parenting has been for me. It's been the best journey that life could have given me. I wouldn't want to change not being parents, especially to those 3 of mine. I'm really grateful I have those 3 because they stretch you. Yeah. There's something that parenting does. Once you become a parent, I think you become more responsible, more prayerful, more willing to sacrifice for someone else because you realize that you're holding another person's life or life and you want to make sure that they come out balanced. So in terms of that, it's been in all the accolades that you want to give me, please, I pray I'm told I'm a good parent.
Yeah, and I'm sure your kids will say the same.
They have good days.
Yeah. We spoke right before this started, and from my interaction with her, I was like, she's cool.
Thank you.
I'm really hoping your kids say the same.
Oh, to be frank with you, I think one of the things I've really gotten that I keep, I have a small box where I keep just things that they've done or things that they've written. Through their years in school and they're asked to write about who is their hero, I get it often. And I've gotten it from all 3. So I'm kind of proud that they think I'm all that till they get out and they realize they're more that. At least I start off holding their hand in that manner. So I'm grateful for it.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. I thinking about raising kids. Of course, I have my own parents, and I think about the people that have shaped my life and things that have contributed to me being who I am. Apart from my parents, the kind of education they've given me also has contributed.
Correct.
And at what point did you realize that your child's education is that important?
From early on. Growing up, I had the opportunity to go to a really great school. My school, the primary school I went to, you needed 3 years to wait to get into the school. And it was full of expats. Okay, so great for me. The least I can do is try and pay it forward. But interestingly, at least at the time we took the decision as a family to send the kids abroad, which we started early. We started from secondary school, actually, to send them out. It was because we had seen them when I went to stay in the UK for a bit, in the school system there, put them for a short period. And you realize how well they do. Yeah. And then they come back sometimes and they're struggling. And I thought to myself, no, then lay a strong foundation. Yeah. And in laying that strong foundation, I started to look for it. It meant a whole lifestyle adjustment. But that's when you start to chase that thing from early on.
Yeah. So it's obvious that you paid attention to your kids' education and making the right choices.
Correct.
So in you making that choice, why the UK?
So for me, I have family in the UK first. And aside from having family in the UK is like 6 hours. I'm also one of those parents that, please, as much as we are looking, let's be running and be looking. Yeah. So I thought, America. My daughter, interestingly, did She did the second half of her secondary in the US.
In the US.
So I already had a comparison of what I did not want.
Oh.
But she had run the American system through.
Okay.
So she went that way. But the boys, because of that experience, we put them in a British system. And going into the US, nothing personal, but she was like, Mom, let's keep them in the UK. Because for one, there's a family there. So there's a structured system. Then they have a pastoral care. So in that system in school, what we found that I really appreciated was the pastoral care. I didn't really see it as much in the US as I did in the UK. So in terms of choices, that's one that shaped it. And before our rates started dropping, of course, one of the things that was really good was if you're already spending a certain amount of money in Nigerian schools, there were certain price caps. Add a little more. The kids could go to the UK. So why not just take the risk? And to be fair, and God bless British International, they were the ones that actually said, this young man is he's bright. So they got to me and said, we found your son a scholarship. I'm like, I'm not sure we're ready. But we took the decision as a family that let's chase it early. So he left also quite early. So that's my experience, and I'm grateful for it.
Wow, yeah. So you mentioned that you mentioned a couple of reasons why you made that choice, like proximity, the fact that it's just a 6-hour flight, the comparison with your daughter's education in the US.
Correct.
And you also mentioned pastoral care. You mentioned proximity to family. What other things would you say contributed to that decision?
Okay, so as I said, I have two. One is still in the system right now. He's still in uni. But the other one has finished and he's been there, so he's working. Before you finish, if you're willing, there's an internship process. That means you can get a guaranteed job if you wanted to remain. And if you did well enough, you would be able to go to other countries to test it out. So there's certain guarantees that it gives you that in Nigeria, we haven't quite structured. And for me as an individual, in fact, last year, I've been actively chasing internships for students that have maybe worked with me. I lecture at Multi-Choice Talent Factory, and also I teach finance for film producers. And in teaching that, I realized that we're looking for where they can land. When they have finished the graduate, they have their degrees. But the practical side of it is that it's not available, it's not structured enough for them to enter the system. So as much as we want to bring them back, that's something that we will need to deal with in Nigeria. And I'm happy for the way both my kids are. One is so willing that, Mom, I am coming back. And I am joining politics. He has been saying it. And then the second one is like, nah, I'm going around Europe. So you find the individuals, but it brings out early. They could travel. They can hold conversations that their mates can't. I see in Nigeria, there's a culture. I'm glad for the Dirty December, but all the hype. My people are not in there. They're books people. Mom, where's the good read? How many books are we buying? If they're coming back, they come back with books. When he was coming, and I'm talking about reading books, it's like, I just paid for this. So I'm not worried about what the culture here, you're thinking of, I'm going to spend this kind of money, binging the money you don't have. It's, for me, created more disciplined children. They also know there's a sacrifice to keep them there. And I can choose to call back my sacrifice as a Nigerian model. Come and stay with me now and be looking at ourselves. It's okay. Or behave and remain there. So you know that there's a part you play. And really, when there was a change in the dollar, I had a conversation with them. Very simply. I told them, I said, hey, guys, are we getting jobs? Are we playing it? We will do it up to this point. Your dad will do it up to this point. And then what are you chipping in if you want to remain there? And that sense of responsibility means that they start working early. And they can hold the conversations that lead them to a better space. So the difficulties supposedly, this entitled attitude, you kind of erase it. So I'll tell any parents, if you have an opportunity, shoot for that thing. Shoot quietly and quickly.
So it's You speak about this being a sacrifice.
It is.
It is a sacrifice.
Please.
In general, you mentioned something earlier. You said studying in Nigeria, going to a really good school in Nigeria, and just adding a little is what it takes to do this.
Yes, it is.
But at the same time, sometimes there can be this uncertainty of what your return would be, because you mentioned earlier before we started this that education is an investment.
It is an investment. First of all, let me speak from my background. My past life is investment banking. I worked at Citibank for over a decade and then went on to be a senior person in banking in other spaces. And so for me, we treated it clinically. Both parents are actually bankers. So it meant you are not expecting return today. But it also means that as a family, you will have the hard conversations. You'd budget. It means you probably will not change the car every so often. It also means that you can't do certain holidays. You'd have to plan the trips, who goes, who stays. But the real return, which is having balanced kids that their head is screwed on right. And I've never been called to come and answer a rascally behavior. But I also do community parenting, I don't live here. Aside from the pastoral care, there's a church system, there's an African system. We are supporting ourselves as parents. And the older ones kind of hold the others in. Because initially, the first went ahead.
Yeah.
We had to send the second one. He was like, Mom, I'm the only one here. So we bundle the two so they keep themselves company and they balance themselves out.
Yeah.
So if you're going, if you can, send them, not one.
Send them.
Yeah, send them.
Send them. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Listening to you, there's so many things in what you've said that I feel like can be unraveled and unwrapped to say so much more. And one thing I want to highlight is you talked about how sending them to the UK for education has impacted their growth as individuals.
Correct.
Building resilience and allowing them to think more proactively as regards their finances. Can you tell us more about that?
Okay. So I'll tell you what we had to do and why I say it helps them grow. From the time you have to send a child, maybe first time you go with them, and then second time you're like, see, you're going to go unaccompanied. You're coming back unaccompanied, 6 hours. They'll run you through the process because we need to work to pay the fees. And the child has to mentally prepare. The teachers have to wake him up. They wake him up at 3. His brother would check that he gets in. There's a resilience that starts to build. He's not the normal one. And then he has to now be able to get into the airport. He comes in early, wait for 5 hours. The discipline of sitting down. What I find with people who start working, observe maybe if you ever got a straight-laced job, after you got into the office, 2-3 hours, you were tired. You were like, but if the child has already gone through being quiet, being able to compose himself, you'll find he would be better ready for society.
Yeah.
And then when they get there, trust me, there'll be skirmishes, there'll be people that think the color of your skin is not as bright as mine.
Yeah.
And it is okay. My conversations with them is that the more you're put in uncomfortable situations sometimes, the better it is for you to build the resilience, the mental mindset, especially when you're able to support it early. My kids, for every time, they took advantage of the system. I'll tell you that. So there's free counseling. My son's going. Completely. Like, Mom, I just went for the last counseling and they were doing XYZ. Because it's available. And there's a healthcare system that's working. So for me, and then they're having conversations that is way ahead of time. The stuff I have in my office, I'm like, please do me a how many page PowerPoint before ChatGPT. We'll speak English. But when he comes back and he's in secondary school and I say, please, could you put the document together?
And how old is he?
At that time, how old was Joshua? About maybe 12, 13.
Really?
Yeah, they do a strong point of it, though. And it's true, then I knew there was ChatGPT. Wow. So during COVID, I was a COVID parent. They were there stuck in school and I was here. Guess what we had to do? on Sundays, they'd give them time to talk to us. So I would say, okay, you're not going to church. Listen to this message, this pastor. And then, so I'm sure you listen to it, transcribe and send it back to me. That's how I found out about ChatGPT. For a while, I'll get the report back. I'm so proud of my son. I'm like, Josh, you're really doing it well. Leroy, how come I haven't gotten it back? He laughed one day and kept quiet, didn't say anything. Then when I scolded him again, he said, Mom, that boy is a rascal. He puts it into ChatGPT. He comes back with all the with the whole thing. I thought, And I also started tracing it. So my development today in teaching creatives, which is what I do at today, is that they teach me. Mm-hmm. So me who started holding their hands now have them holding my hand.
Holding yours.
Yes. Yeah. And it comes through, we talked about wellness.
Yeah.
Yes. I told you the story of how he came back and said, Mom, at this age, you should not be doing soda. And all the soda drinks. And I was like, why? What's wrong with this? You have a sweet tooth. You need to cut it. So they will teach you because they are ahead. Mm-hmm. And that's what the UK system's done for me. It's kind of pushed me ahead through them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
So one more thing. I know it seems like I'm going back and going
that's
back,
fine.
but you mentioned that you have a daughter who schooled in New York, in Connecticut, I think.
So she started secondary in Connecticut and then moved on to uni in New York.
In New York.
Yes. So I lives in New York today.
Yeah. As someone who has had children in the US and in the UK, if I may ask, can you do some comparison?
Let me tell you what my daughter said. So my son plays rugby and plays quite strongly and was interested in, and then also football and was interested in moving to the US. She called me, she was like, Mom, please, no. Why? Because there's a balance. So she used to be very active in sports at AISL, at American International. She was into gymnastics, was into, what was it now? She swam for her school, sang for her school. That's here in Nigeria. As soon as she moved, yes, it was a creative space she moved into, but the work-life balance wasn't there. But for the boys, the first one continued to play what's it called? Handball, volleyball.
Volleyball, okay.
And played it across Europe. The second one plays today football and rugby for his school. So they remained active. And you know that when you are active in school, to be honest, because you're involved so I insist on sports, because it means they're out of drugs.
Yeah.
There's someone testing that there are no drugs around them. So you find careful ways. Not here when weed, there are conversations you're hearing, you're thinking, how? Why? Yeah. So it saves me a lot. And I personally, it's gratitude I bring to that space.
Yeah. Yeah, so you talked about your sons playing sports and your daughter doing creative work with music and whatnot. In what ways have studying in the UK helped, should I say, grow them on that front?
Okay. The school he goes to, the baby in my house, goes to Leicester, the University of Leicester. The choice to go to Leicester was primarily because it was a sports school. Primarily. Was a sports school and a sports school with good football and good stadiums. That was the reason he opted for it, because we wanted him to go to certain other schools that had probably a bit more name. And he was like, Mom, the outdoors do it for me. I heal from the outdoors. And their secondary was in Ireland, and that so they did a period in Dublin. And that period, you find the outdoor in Dublin is fantastic. So they wanted the same thing in the UK. So both didn't do uni in mainstream London. They went outside of London for a bit, so that these conversations on rugby, on traveling, on giving back, the environment alone. So when I'm going to inspect schools, I'm inspecting for how many grounds do you have for play?
Yeah.
Do you have this? So that's what I inspect for. I'm not only looking for educational, just tap. There's enough in Nigeria. Nigerian system is we cram it down. The child must do this. And then what about the play? It's missing.
Yeah.
And then when that balance is out, the energy is not let out. Then they enter mischief. And you're wondering,
why, how?
Why, how? It's not magic. Go burn that energy and come back to me sane. So that's what I think.
That's beautiful. One more thing. I don't know. I listen to what you say and questions just keep coming back to my mind. Opportunities. Just listening to you, you mentioned in passing how your son was in, I think, BIS, and they noticed that he was a peculiar kid with like gifts. And
Correct.
they noticed that and they went the extra mile to find opportunities to allow him to grow that gift.
Correct.
Can you speak more on that?
Okay, so I get a call from, I think it was the vice principal or some senior person at the time and says, please, could you prep your son for an exam? We've observed him. Leroy is, how do I explain? I'm an EFICO. And I was a scholarship student. So
for those who don't know what an EFICO is, how do I say this now? EFICO
those bookworms, those ones that go the extra mile. They said, start reading. The exam is next week. We start today. That's how I am. And Leroy is wired like that. And maths is a strength in our house across all the kids. And
you mentioned that you love numbers.
Oh, no, we love numbers. Numbers tell you, they don't lie, they tell you the truth. People can tell you stories, read the numbers. So I get a call that he's to be prepped for an exam and that they'd found a school that could take him. And I thought, I'm not sure we're ready. We want to do it, but because he left in the second year. And normally you say, let's finish 3 years and then he'll go, So they were like, we think it's time. He would do well there. Prepped him. We spoke to his dad. That one actively went for it. I was slow on the uptake initially because I thought, he's leaving early. I haven't, because there's a mindset to send a child abroad. Yeah. I need a year to prep his mind. My son is, I thought he was a bit, how do I say it? If they put him on the road to go home by himself, would he be able to go home with public transport? I'm not sure I had done all that.
Yeah.
So I was concerned about it. But today, I'm grateful. He went early.
Yeah.
Because when I'm coming, they'll map the route for me. Mom, we will meet you here and your train will take you there. So it's true. So I'm one of those parents. I'm high maintenance and I don't even apologize for it. Completely, I do not. Please, when you're coming to see me, bring flowers. Don't just come like that. What's that? Be easy. But seriously, so you find... there's a mindset that comes with it. He got the exposure because BIS set it up. They found me 3 schools. And then when they found the scholarship, interestingly, the first offer I think they said was maybe a 10%. And I said, we might not be able to afford it. They came back and brought us almost 30% in discount.
Yeah.
And then a payment plan. It made it easy to stop being churlish and to go. Yeah. So to that extent, I think, and it's been both schools we chose, to be honest, same thing for my daughter. They also did the same thing. So my point is, if you have kids that you are training deliberately, allow the system work with them, but also be willing when the children go there for the legal, the pastoral care to guide them. Don't also be that parent that when they say the child hasn't done well, instead of allowing the process, you defend it. That's when the child begins to go the wrong way. If my kids know that if a teacher calls, I'm taking sides with the teacher. You must have maybe your siblings, all 3 of them come and defend you for me to give it here because the pastoral care is strong and the stability is quite good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very obvious that the duty of care on the part of the schools is they fulfill that duty.
Great.
They fulfill that duty, and they also create opportunities and spaces for people to. It's about education. It's not just about
education and then stability. And then there's something that they catch early, the mental state of the child. They'd observe it.
Yeah.
Those are the things that we're not talking about. We hear a lot of stories on kids not doing well. They pick it early. And if you work with them, really, I've enjoyed mine because I work with them. There's a system, it's working well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
One more thing. What would you say are opportunities that the UK still offers that are of value to Nigerians today?
I'll tell you what I know from a hands-on space. Now, in Nigeria, in uni today, correct me if I'm wrong, the system is such that I go to university and I'm in an environment. Most times, I don't even have the opportunity to do another job. So I have 5-10 hours where I'm free, but I'm not doing anything. But from year one, we get them to work. So imagine someone that starts from 12, 13, and then or 17 working, and another one that all he does is, I've gone to university. You owe me for even going to university. There's such an entitlement attitude. It's not there. So it cultures them with that process first, on the one hand. Secondly, there's an internship system that's working. That internship, I know that if the child treats the job with the diligence that is required, and you've put them through a system that allows them that internship, they get a retainer before they graduate.
Yeah.
The rest of mine, knowing that the child can work there or here, come back to Nigeria, he has options.
Yeah.
He's not going through life thinking, I've graduated, where do I hustle it? The stability for me is a blessing.
Yeah.
I am very grateful.
That's really beautiful. The fact that the system doesn't just create a conducive environment for study, but also creates spaces for them to use that which they've learned, that which they've acquired, the education that they've gotten. It allows them to apply it to life.
Correct.
And they're not just applying it to life after school. They're applying it to life right when they're in school. I think that's a really beautiful one.
I think it is.
Yeah.
I think it is.
If you could advise a Nigerian parent watching this right now, if you could tell them just one thing that they need to hear on the subject of sending their kids to study abroad in the UK, what would you say?
Whoa. So let me say it from my heart.
Yeah.
It will be a decision that has to be carefully thought out. It's long play. But it will be one of the best decisions you will make if you would allow yourself, your child, as a family, take that position that it's an investment that will keep returning. Several things it will do for you. Let me speak to two. One, the future that you're hoping for, because of the advancement and the structure in the UK, they would get that for free. They would also be able to, in a very short time, have the spread mentally, emotionally, because they're doing above what their colleagues are doing today. So you set them ahead. And every parent, I'll tell you guys for free, I'm one of those people that it is said that a good man leaves an inheritance. Education is an investment and an inheritance. Give them the best. And the UK has really strong systems. So I would say it's a sacrifice, because you might think, I'm not earning enough. How do we adjust it? It just means you cut out excess and focus as a family. But when you take that decision and follow that process through, the return on investment is a lot. The balance that they get, the ability to have conversations where you know that your child's job today is secure if they're coming back. Because my kids come back and the young man is doing law. He's already, before he even went to law school, because he had stayed in the system in the UK, he got a job, worked here, worked in a second place, is in there now. If he's coming back home, there's a job waiting. So you start early preparing their future. What more do you want? Man, take that leap and come thank me later.
Thank you so much, Dr. Michale. This was very insightful. This was also fun.
Thank you. Yeah, the backstage. I like that one. Thank you.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
I hope more parents take this opportunity.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
I hope so too.
And I would like to say a big thank you to the British Council for this opportunity to come speak to parents. The honor is mine. I honestly don't take it for granted that I'm here talking to as many persons on it. And I hope that we can do more and see more parents come on the table. Thank you. And thank you.
Thank you so much.
Nice talking to you. Thank you.
We hope this episode has helped you gain clarity and help spark conversations that would help you make the right decision. So, if you have any questions, just visit the British Council website, and wish you all the best. See you in the UK.